Hola a todos amigos, bienvenidos a Cafecito con Masha. ¡Qué emoción! El día de hoy tenemos una entrevista increíble. Everyone, let me greet my audience in Spanish and then I'll quickly switch to English to talk to everyone. Amigos, estoy muy emocionada porque el día de hoy de verdad tenemos una entrevista maravillosa. Antes que nada quiero pedirles que no olviden suscribirse a este canal. Síganme en mis redes sociales para que estén al pendiente de todas las noticias, de todas las publicaciones que estoy haciendo, el contenido que subo. Saben que estoy subiendo videos prácticamente cada semana, entrevistas, y vienen muchas entrevistas, así que no dejen de verlas. También quiero invitarlos a que me sigan en mi canal de Telegram, que acabo apenas de abrir. Ay, aquí estoy. Síganme ahí para que estén también al pendiente de todas las noticias que estaré publicando. También no quiero que olviden ir a la página de Golden Skate. Aquí van a encontrar un foro de discusión, todas las noticias de patinaje, así que no se lo pueden perder porque encontrarán contenido maravilloso. También quiero recordarles que si quieren que lea algún comentario, alguna pregunta al final de la entrevista, no duden utilizar el super chat, porque con estos donativos es que este canal ha crecido tanto hasta el momento. Así que muchas gracias. Y para quienes no sean miembros todavía de este canal, vayan aquí abajo y únanse. Tengan su membresía de Cafecito con Masha para todo el contenido exclusivo que estoy subiendo. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited today because we have an amazing interview with a great skater that I have been admiring from all my life, almost. I mean, I started skating and he was there and he was huge and he's still huge and it's amazing to have him here. I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel, please, and follow me on all my social media so you can learn about all the content I'm uploading all the time. Also, please follow me on my Telegram channel. I will be updating news and everything right there. And also, don't forget to go to Golden Skate. You will find all the news figure skating related. You will find also a discussion forum that you will love. So go there. Don't miss this page because it's amazing. And I want to remind you that if you want me to read a comment or a question at the end of the interview, please use the super chat. Thanks to those donations, my channel has been growing so much. So I want to introduce our guest for today. We have Olympic champion and world champion, Brian Boitano. Hello, Brian. Welcome to Cafecito con Masha.
Hi, it's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for accepting because this is truly exciting. I mean, like I said, when I started skating, you just won your Olympics, well, a few years before, but you know, like your name was so big in that moment. And I remember that when I started skating, I was watching all the videos and I was like, oh my God, I want to skate like him. So huge fan, huge fan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we were very lucky at that time because skating was something that if you won an Olympic medal, it opened a door so that you could go into entertainment. And in those days, we were able to do so much touring and TV specials and movies and things like that. So we were really lucky to be involved in skating at that time.
Yeah, actually, I remember about those movies. Those were amazing. I think I have on VHS some of them because they were so good. I mean, like the best acting ever.
Yeah, we did. Did you see Carmen on Ice? That
Of
was with
course, I
Catherine.
did with Katerina
Yeah,
Bitt.
and that was a extensive productions
Oh
in those
yeah,
days. Like, we were on sets in Spain and Seville. We, taped for 3 months or 5 months in Seville alone. So it was pretty amazing.
I don't know why they don't keep doing that. I mean, they have like the TV series and everything, but those movies were like so good.
Yeah, they were super expensive to do, so I think that
I
that's
know.
probably why they don't do them anymore. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it was
bet.
awesome.
So we have so much to talk about today. But first of all, like the obligated question, what's your story? How did you get into figure skating?
Well, I was a little boy daredevil. Do you have that word, daredevil?
Yeah.
Like in Spanish? Okay. Daredevil roller skater on the sidewalks in Sunnyvale, California here, near where I live. And so my mom knew that I loved roller skating so much. She decided one time to bring me to one of the famous ice shows. I think we had like Holiday on Ice, Ice Capades, Ice Follies. They were these glamour shows. And so she brought me in San Francisco to the Ice Follies. And I remember where I was sitting. I remember what I was wearing. I remember everything that I saw, especially with like one like act that I saw. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I went home and we had an ice rink near our house that I didn't know about. But I asked my dad, I said, Dad, I want to go ice skating. And so he finally brought me ice skating. And I said, this is my home. This is my spot. This is where I belong. And I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow. So Linda Lever saw your talent. So she asked your parents to coach you. What's that story?
So back then we had, well, we still have it similar to this day. They had like 6 levels every weekend. You would progress from level 1, you would learn something, then go to 2, 3, 4, and you would progress as you would pass each level. So on at level 5, Linda Lever was teaching the group lesson, and so I had to learn a 2-foot spin. And so I kept falling because I was trying to spin too fast. And she's like, just stand up and I'll pass you. So I stood up finally on my 2-foot spin and I went to level 6. And she said, after he finishes level 6 next week, she asked my parents, she said, can I teach him private lessons? And they said, yeah. And so I stayed with her all the way through I'm still with her. I mean, she still manages me and
I
is my
know he wrote to me. She's so nice.
yeah, she's great. It's been wonderful, and I think that I'm the only person who ever stayed with the same coach from beginner to Olympic champion.
Wow, it's a
Yeah,
nice story. I mean, it's like your whole life.
it is. It's so nice to have someone loyal and trustworthy in your corner because as you know, in a lot of times in business or skating, sport, whatever, you can't always trust a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it's great to have a team around you, especially, after you win an Olympic gold medal, it's just things are just going crazy around you. And you have to still focus on your job and you have to
Mm.
focus on being a good skater because when you start touring and things like that after the Olympic gold medal, there's an expectation of people. They want to see the best in the world. So you got to keep up that level. And to do that, it requires a really good team around you that you can completely trust. And
Wow,
I was really, really lucky to have that.
that's amazing. It's a truly nice story. So, your first Olympics were in 1984, and
Yep.
you were fifth. And your goal wasn't even to medal there. I mean, what was your goal exactly?
Well, my goal was the year before I had been 7th in the world. It was my first year at World Championships, and that was a really, really good debut. And then in '84, I was thinking if I'm going to get a medal, if I want to get a medal in '88, I really need to be at least in the top 5. Because if you sort of doing the calculations, you're like, if I get in the top 5, then I'm shooting range for top 3. I could be competitive with all those people because they mix and match like in the top 5. But if you're under the top 5, it's like harder to break into that pack. And I knew that one of the guys that was in 4th was going to retire, and
Mhm.
it's sort of like positioning yourself for the next 4 years.
Mm.
And I had a really great role model. Scott Hamilton had been 5th the year before
Yeah.
his win in '84. So I thought, well, if he could do it, I could do it. So he set the example. And so my goal was really 5th, and I reached that goal. But it gave me the permission to at least dream about possibly winning a gold medal 4 years later.
Yeah, you felt like it was close enough.
Yeah, it was like, it was in shooting range. I felt like, I would still have to be really good to beat the people ahead of me, but I felt like the top 5, they're competitive against each other. And it's kind of like, when you go 5th, like 5th through 10th, they're competitive against each other. You know what I mean? So I felt like I was at least in shooting range for getting onto the podium, if not winning in like '88.
Wow. So you have two world titles, but you have four world medals in total. What does that mean to you?
Well, you know what? Each one means something different. In my first world medal was a surprise to me. So I mean, I skated great that night, and I, after I won, it was a surprise. So it's really one of the most important moments because you just literally are not expecting to walk away from that evening being world champion. And I literally was, I was hoping to be in the top three. And I was like, well, if I can get in the top three, then it's 2 years until the Olympics and I can push for first. But, and then all of a sudden I end up on the top of the podium in world championships. So it means a lot to have that, like, sort of, that once you win a world title, it's sort of, it changes you as a skater. It changes how you step on the ice. It changes how you look at competitions. It changes everything from your focus to your pressure, the pressure on you. But it definitely changes how you are as a skater on the ice.
Yeah, I bet. And for the Calgary Olympics, you did like a strategy change. So you hired Sandra Besic as a choreographer to improve the artistic mark. That was like the weak mark for you, right? So that clearly showed in the debut in Skate America. And from then, like all the programs you were doing in that season were like standing ovation, and it was so good. Do you think that that truly changed the scores for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was an essential turning point for me. I don't think I could have won without that turning point because I had to change the judge's perception of me. I had always been known as a robotic, perfect, like, jumper. Like, it's like he doesn't make mistakes. He's like always doing jumps, but I was always just known as a jumper. It wasn't like an artist or, um, you know, uh, my scores were always reflective of a lower composition and style or artistic score. And I made the mistake myself by thinking all those years that I had to compete against my top competitors on their level. So my top competitors were like Brian Orser and Scott Hamilton and Alexander Fediev, and they were much smaller and quicker than me.
Uh,
So, and I was, I'm 5'11", I weighed 155, and they were, tiny and quick and light, and I thought I had to win by doing what they did, and I just couldn't do it. I'm just not the guy that's built for being light and quick and with
mm,
quick footwork. So Sandra Besic said, "Hey, you're doing the wrong thing. You're trying to compete on them about what they do best. You need to do what you do best and make the judges choose between apples and oranges." And so she created this whole persona of this leading man, strength and speed, and just these character driven, heroic characters that she put on me, and it really worked, and I took to it right away. And she was surprised, but it ended up really creating talk for me that ultimately meant that I won the Olympics in '88.
wow. So talking about those Olympics, we must talk about the Battle of the Bryans. I mean, it's like huge. What happened there? Oh, I mean, it was like all media, of course, but please explain to the people who doesn't know what is that.
Well, there you see Brian Orser, so he was a Canadian champion, I think 9-time Canadian champion. He had been second in 1984 to the Olympics to Scott Hamilton. Won the free skates in '84, and so it was. Yeah, I don't know if it's still that way, the way in this day and age, but I think it is. It was his turn to kind of win the Olympics. It was like since he was second to Scott, I was fifth
Got it.
that year. It was in Canada. He was carrying the Canadian flag. I had won the world title in '86. I lost it to him in '87. And so now it was '88. So it was like the battle of the Bryans. And I discovered this whole direction that the media was going to take by the cover of, in America, we have this famous magazine called Time Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the cover of Time Magazine right before I left for the Olympics. And I hadn't heard that phrase yet. And I was like, oh boy, okay, they're turning this into a battle. I get it. So it just, really taught me that I needed to focus on the job at hand and not listen to any of the media happening because they needed a story. And
Yeah.
I think they couldn't have written a movie, wouldn't have been a better story than what happened at the Olympics for us.
Yeah, of course. And you both were amazing skaters. And like all the people still talk about that. It was one of those epic moments, at Olympics. And it's funny, but I get it. I mean, you both were so good. And the fight was tough.
It was, and in those days we had compulsory figures, so
Yeah.
I was second. The Russian, who was another competitor of ours that was a world champion in '85, Alexander Fediev, he was in the mix with us, but we were probably we were the two favorites. But I was, second in the compulsory figures. Brian was third, and then in the short program, Brian won the short program, and I was second. But I was still in first place.
Yeah.
So it boiled down to whoever would win the long program the night after. So it came down to that night, and I won by the slimmest of margins. So it was literally, people were biting their nails because it was so nerve wracking, and we were so
Yeah.
close for the entire week.
Actually, I wanted to talk about that program, and we will see it right now. Um, you were so good in that long program, and but then you got amazing grades, amazing marks. But Brian Orser still didn't skate, so you had to wait until he skated. I
Yeah.
mean, so that was crazy. What were you thinking in this program? Were you thinking about something at all?
Yeah, right there. I mean, I can tell you every moment. I know what I was thinking right here in this flying camel. After the triple flip right before the flying camel, I was thinking, "Oh my God, I'm so on." And yeah, and I was like trying to remind myself on that triple triple combination. I really felt like when I spiked in for the first triple flip, there was like a big chunk of ice that flew out, and I
Oh,
went like even higher than I had ever imagine. So I remember if you stop a video at any point, I can tell you exactly what I was thinking for those 4.5 minutes. It is amazing. Right here on the split jumps, I was thinking, here's a double axle. It's the easiest thing, but don't make a mistake on the easiest thing. I wasn't ready to celebrate until right after, like, I'm like, scratch, spin, keep concentrating. And then now I'm done. Okay, now I can celebrate. And so all these emotions were coming through. Like I was crying, I was laughing. The audience was responding exactly how I imagined for years and years. I'd always visualized it, and they were standing up exactly like I thought. So it was almost like these moments were not real. It was like I had been imagining them, or like visualizing them how I did in my dreams. Just everything about that moment was exactly how I'd hoped or imagined it for years. So it wasn't until the Star Spangled Banner started playing later that I kind of realized I wasn't dreaming, because the Star Spangled Banner was playing at a faster tempo than I'd always imagined it. So I always imagined in my dreams, I would always imagine the Star Spangled Banner was going da 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 da, and when it came on, it was da 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 da, da, and I'm like, this I am not dreaming. I'm not dreaming. This is like real. So that's how
wow.
I sort of popped out of it.
Wow. And it's incredible that you can remember like every moment of the program. And at the end, did you feel that it was enough for the gold?
I felt like it should. I felt like it should have been enough for the gold. I knew that. I don't know how to explain it. I know it should have won the gold, because I knew what he had planned in his program,
Uh-huh.
and I knew that I had planned. I had two triple axles. I had a triple triple. I had two triple flips, and I knew that he didn't plan a triple triple or a second triple axle or a second triple flip, and mine was a triple triple combination. So I knew that when I finished, I'm like, okay, I should win the gold, but I don't know that I will win the gold because it's not my turn. So I knew it really would boil down to how he skated, and honestly, who the judges were that would choose me for that night, because, it didn't mean that I would have a panel that would vote for me. And I
Yeah.
knew that the panel that they had chosen typically would vote for Brian Orser.
Yeah, exactly. And when you finally realized that the gold was yours and you received your Olympic gold medal, what went through your mind?
I thought it's so interesting, because I felt like at this moment that you're watching there, I felt like I was. It wasn't that I was representing all of America. I felt like I was all of America. It was this such patriotic feeling of watching the flag go up, and you're like, oh my gosh, everyone in America is watching me do this, and I just performed my best, like, competition in front of all of America. You're so filled with gratitude. You're so filled with pride of country. You're so pleased that, that your parents and the people who have always supported you could be there to witness this. And most of all, I think there is this satisfaction that you have. And it's not of winning the gold, but like what you said, that moment at the end of the program where I had just lived with all this pressure, all this coming in on me, and I was able to like put it out of my mind, and I was able to give literally the performance of my life. And there's just this satisfaction that you can't describe, because you're like, I did it. I did it at the time when everyone was watching, that it was the most important that I do it, and I delivered. And so it's a great thing that you hold for your life, that accomplishment for that night.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's like the best way to win the Olympics because we have seen so many times that someone wins and did a great job, but not perfect. Or maybe, the other guy didn't skate so good, but you expect to win when the other guys skate clean. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like the best way to win.
Yeah, when everybody's good and you win,
Yeah.
you're like, "Okay, that's really good."
Wow.
And it's so funny because everybody the other Olympic champions from, America, it's like we do a lot of events together, and sometimes they're playing our videos and they'll commentate on their own videos, and it's so interesting to see what some of them think about their performance, because something that you and I wouldn't see in one of the Olympic champions' performances, they remember that moment. They're like, oh my God, I hated that because I did this or I did that. And it's so interesting to see their insight as to what they were remembering as they were skating and what they think of their performance.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, with Jeremy Abbott, I was talking about him, and at first he told me that before he didn't think that that he won that medal, but
Mhm.
then years after he like accepted he did, but
Yeah.
like he wasn't happy with his performance back then, and I mean. It's like everybody who is watching on TV is like, you were amazing. What are you talking about? you know
It's true, but I don't know if you've ever had that, but I when I watch a performance, like when it's really fresh, like after I skate it, I'll go, oh, there's a lot wrong there. There's a lot wrong there. But then if you wait for 2 years and then you come back to it, you're like, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't you forgot what you expected from the moment, and then you just released everything, and then you're like, that was good.
Yeah, sometimes we can be tough on ourselves. That happens. But that's a good thing. That's why you're Olympic champion, so that's great. I mean, so after retiring, you did so many things. So tell us a little bit of what you have been doing. I mean, you did shows, cooking, TV, books, like everything. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, I think, it was amazing to look back. I mean, I toured for 20 years, and Katerina, who was there, this was Champions on Ice with Michelle Kwan and Oksana Bayul and everything. Katerina and I had our own tour called Skating for 3 years that we did a world tour. And this was, that was one of our tours. We did Carmen on the ice from the movie, scenes from Carmen on Ice. So I think it was mostly filled with doing, touring for, 20 years. And, professional competitions were really popular then. So we were every year doing world professionals and doing TV shows. And, it was really a great time for skating. And it was literally full time. I mean, we didn't have any time in the summer or any time to rest. We were literally skating all year round. And so you see some of the cooking stuff that I did. These were, this was sort of an offshoot of like when I stopped really skating professionally at a like touring. I did a show on Food Network where I would entertain my friends at my house, and I would do that. So it sort of it made me go off in a different direction. So I do still the food kind of stuff. I've had cookbooks, and now I'm opening Boitano's lounges in Kindler boutique hotels. And our first one is in Nebraska. Our second one is in Kansas City, and our third one is in Baltimore. So, the food thing keeps continuing. And then you saw that I was doing Olympic ice for NBC Peacock,
Yeah.
which was really fun. It was kind of like the fun version of talking about skating. Like this is like you and me talking. This is fun. It was kind of the fun version with Ashley Wagner and Johnny Mosley and Matt Eisman, so they were really fun to be with.
That's so amazing. So, like everything you have done, what's the thing that you have enjoyed the most?
I really enjoyed doing like the Carmen on Ice thing that we talked about earlier, the movie Carmen on Ice. I really enjoyed doing the movie and the film stuff. I did another TV special on a glacier called Canvas of Ice, where I skated on a glacier. And it was fun. It was fun to do the filming of, because you could focus on choreography a lot more then. And it was like,
Mm.
sort of more intricate because you could take your time filming. But the other thing that I really miss is the live performance of
Mhm.
doing tour cities. I'll never forget like being in Champions on Ice and, the buildings were packed and you had this time because we were doing 90 cities in 5 months some years. So we would go to a different city every night and that was like 95 tour and we would, just be playing buildings. So it would give you this time to really nurture a program and make and build it to something that you really loved and you thought was really a successful. You know how it is. It takes time to do a program and understand it before you're really happy with how you perform it.
Yeah.
So I miss those days of being able to perform and like really build a program so that I'm happy with it at the end. It sort of turned into skating was like these one-off TV shows that you would just do a program to this song that a singer was singing and then it wasn't really what you wanted to do, but you just had to do it and then finish it and then you never visited with it again. So I don't know. I miss those days of choreography that you could just like get every little nuance just right.
Oh, and what about your Take the Ice project?
Take the Ice is really going to be fun. I just read one of our last scripts, and I really think it's going to bring. It's with Netflix, and it's the story about a synchronized skating team. And so I think that it will bring a lot of focus to synchronized skating. And also it happens to be a black synchronized skating team. So
Nice.
um, I don't think skating is not well represented, culturally. And I feel like that this will hopefully open up, some possibilities. And our dream is hopefully to have a young girl in the future, me and the other executive producers, hopefully have a girl, in the future winning an Olympic medal saying like, I really remember my first moment that I fell in love with skating was when I saw Take the Ice on Netflix. So that's my dream.
That would be amazing. And when is it coming out?
We haven't started filming yet. So it'll probably start filming in probably winter.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I
That's
know it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's
It's
going
going
to
to
be
be
amazing. I mean, I love to watch figure skating stuff on TV, but I mean, under your direction, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be real.
You know what? I've tried really hard to keep it real because I said, I don't want skaters watching it and going like, that doesn't happen. You know how
Exactly.
many times we watch a movie or something and you're like, oh, come
Every
on.
time.
You don't carry your skate over your shoulders with your laces tied. You just don't do that.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Or when you watch a movie and like you see that they change skates for every scene, and it's like, she's using different brands, like
Or
in
they
every
wear their
scene.
costumes for practice, like it's all beaded and fancy and their hair's in a bun. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, that's
That
not what
doesn't
happened.
happen. Like people is like this on the ice. I get it. Yeah. Wow, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait, really. So, okay, I want to talk about Beijing Olympics. I mean,
Yeah.
you were working on TV, so you have it pretty fresh. And I would love to hear your opinion. Let's start with the guys. I mean,
Wow.
what about the guys? They are so amazing.
Amazing. Oh my God. Oh, there's your skater. He did a
Yes,
great job. What place did he end up anyway?
I think 22nd. So,
Okay, that's great. I
I
mean,
mean,
like the
yeah,
fact that he's like the best Mexican skater to come through.
yeah,
I mean, Hanyu, that was just so sad to see him in the short program
heartbreaking.
pop that Sao. Um, but this Kageyama, oh my God, he's the future.
He's
I can't.
amazing.
I'm not even gonna look at the pictures anymore. I'm just gonna talk because I have. I
So
keep
much
trying to
to talk
look
about,
at
I
the
know.
pictures. Nathan is amazing. He's not only an amazing skater, he's an amazing human being. He's respectful to everybody. He appreciates the sport. He's just such a great role model. He's a fantastic role model for everybody. I love Nathan Chen. Kageyama is the future of skating. I really think that he's going to be the first one to do 5 rotations because his quads are so. I mean, I don't think he made a mistake on the quad loop, but it's like the first time he tried it, and it
Yeah.
was like a small mistake. But his quad saukaus just are perfect position, perfect technique,
Yeah.
perfect everything, and he breaks out like this high
I
above the
know
ice.
his jumps are huge and he's so tiny.
I know, he's so quick, so precise, his quad toes are perfect. I think he's going about it the right way too, because,
Mhm.
I see a lot of these guys, like I watched Russian nationals, men's nationals, and I was like, they're putting too much in their program. They
Mm.
can't do all this stuff. So they're just loading it with quad lutzes and flips. And I'm like, they don't do anything consistently because they can't do any one thing. And so I think Kageyama is doing it really super smart because he's like learning how to really hit. I mean, those quad toes and quad sows are clockwork. And now he's starting on loop, so
Yeah.
he's doing it in order and mastering it before he moves on to the next thing. And I think that that's a link that other people miss. And I understand them missing it because people are doing so much. They think I just got to throw it in there and hope that I do it.
Mhm.
But I think he's going about it the right way. He's truly the future of skating.
Yeah, and also, like he didn't have any pressure. He went to the Olympics to have fun. I believe that he didn't know he had a chance. So he just went there and had fun. He was like super excited with his dad, like, having fun. But then he saw that he was able to get there. And oh my God, I mean, it was like shocking. I mean,
Yeah.
like when I saw him win the Youth Olympic Games, I was like, this guy is good, and I just started paying attention. And this season I was paying attention closely, and I knew that he was, like able, but we had Yusuru. So it's like, okay, maybe not this Olympics, but next Olympics. But like he did an amazing job right now.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up Yuzuru. He confused me. I was confused by him. And I love his skating. I think he's really good, but I didn't understand the whole thing about the quad axle. I didn't understand that because I didn't see anything that showed that it was even close to doing, even if you had a really great night and you were feeling perfect and had a perfect takeoff. I saw nothing I didn't see any footage of a clean quad axle. It was like always kind
Yeah.
of like a half a turn cheated and then fallen. And I was like, it just confused me. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, me neither. I think it was risky, but I have heard from some interviews that he doesn't care anymore about the medals. Like he wants this goal, and maybe that was his motivation to keep competing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about someone who says that they don't care about medals, you know what I mean? I understand that, and he's really good. He's been a great, great skater for his generation. Amazing. But yeah, I was just confused, and I was really sad to see him
Yeah,
miss the cow in the. It truly did look. I mean, his blade slipped or he hit something. I don't know if he hit something, but I could see. I don't know if you could see that on his landing. He sort
yeah,
of looked at the takeoff to see what the heck that was. So I felt. I mean, he must have known at that point that it was just
over.
not going to happen
I
anymore.
know
Yeah.
it was so sad because even with the quad axle in the free skate, he had a chance. I mean, the huge problem was the short program. I mean, that
Yeah.
was like a no, like they took out the jump.
Yeah. The
So
other thing that was confusing for me on him, and we don't have to spend time talking about him, but he had no coach represented there.
no,
He did the whole thing alone.
yeah,
So I think that in history I've seen when skaters go it alone, it never works out well.
and he
Everybody
chose
needs
that. I
yeah.
heard that he's training by himself in Japan since the pandemic started. So he decided that he was not going to be with Brian Orser in the
Mm.
Olympics. That's like, tough. I saw
Well,
some pictures of
yeah,
him, like, just lonely.
I know, but I think everybody needs just someone to talk to, like, even if it's not Brian at the rail, if it
Yeah,
was a
whoever.
representative from the federation or something, like just to, say like, I felt good or how you need some water. Or I don't know, just
Yeah,
anything
something.
to share it with them. I felt bad that he didn't
I
have
know.
anybody.
It was heartbreaking. I mean, and he's so nice. He seems like such a nice guy, and he's, you know, like cheering for everybody and smiling all the time. But it's heartbreaking to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what about Shoma?
Shoma has improved so much in the last year. I mean, I think Stefan has been amazing for him. The thing that always kind of distracted me about his skating was his double check on the landings. You know how he would like sort of release a landing and then
Yeah.
check like that. And literally, Stefan got rid of all that. So I felt more secure watching him. I was always nervous when I watched him skate that I was like, oh, come on, let's do that. Like the triple axels, like sort of were kind of hairy sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't have great skates sometimes. So he was kind of hot and cold. But I felt more confident while I watched him this time. You know, I felt like he was in control. And you could see the concentration on his face too. He
Yeah.
approached the program like he
He
was,
looked calmer in general.
yeah, like focused, right?
Uh huh.
Like, and he maintained that through the whole thing. You could just tell. I don't know if other people know, but skaters can kind of pop into other skaters' bodies and see how they're
Mm-hmm.
feeling. You can see a lot on their face and you can
Yep.
feel what they're feeling. So, like when I was watching him and I was popping into his body, I was like thinking, he's good. He's
Mm-hmm.
really focused and in control, you know?
And you know, the artistic part is it has improved so much with Stefan. It's like different. I mean, he was good, but now he's great.
Yeah, exactly. He's really well-rounded, and he's always had really good components scores. I mean, his components have always been, you know, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that his weakness was really consistency,
Yeah.
and I think that that has gotten a lot better. I mean, I know he had a rougher skate than he wanted to in the long program. I mean, he had some mistakes, but it was, you know, there's a difference between like mistakes that are easily fixable and those that aren't, that require a lot more training. And he had those kind of mistakes that are just like tweaks, little
Exactly.
easily fixed.
It was a great competition. And what about the ladies? Ah, my God, I
Oof.
suffered
Um,
through that competition.
I cannot get Sherbakova's face out of my mind when she was standing backstage and the chaos was happening in the kiss and cry and backstage, and she was just standing there with that stuffed animal in her arms going like, I just won an Olympic gold medal and nobody's coming over to me. It was heartbreaking. It literally broke my heart.
It was a tough
um
moment.
wasn't it? What did you feel about that whole moment of her?
Oh, I felt bad for everyone. It's like nobody won in that moment. I mean, Valieva, of course, she was like devastated, and I think everybody was devastated with her. And then Trusova wasn't getting why she didn't win, and she was so frustrated. And the cameras were following her like everywhere, so she was
Yeah.
like, "Please get off me." And then Sherbakova was like, I think she didn't want to celebrate because I don't know, maybe she wanted to respect her teammates, but also she was alone and waiting. I don't know. It was like sad for everyone. Like the only one who was happy in that moment was Kaori.
Yeah, right. And yeah, and she was crying too.
Yeah, I know.
From happiness, but like there was a lot of crying happening.
Yeah,
And but you know, I just it was really hard to watch, but I felt, you know, my takeaway from Sherbakova was like, you know, not even I understand like the coaching having to deal with all these meltdowns happening and stuff like that. But even someone from the federation just going over and standing with her and going like, "Congratulations, it's a
um,
gold medal," and that kind of thing. I just felt was bad. I mean, the Japanese women were the highlight for me.
yeah, they were
I
so
love,
good.
yeah, Wakaba. I mean, like, I
Oh
don't
my
understand
God,
why
I
she
love.
wasn't higher. Why wasn't she higher after the
Yeah.
short program? We don't know.
What do you think about the free skate of Trusova with the 5 quads?
I feel like her coaches probably told her that they do judge component scores as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because obviously there are other skaters like focus on that as well. So I understand going out there and putting it down there and going like, I'm the only one that did all those quads and I skated clean. But there is another realism to not having a full well-rounded score. and that's, too many crossovers, just not good component score. It's and that's the thing the thing that when you get younger skaters, you don't have the maturity of someone like a Jason Brown or someone
Oh,
like a Mariah Bell.
yeah.
A
Oh,
Mariah
I
Bell.
love Mariah.
Yeah, I do too. And so there is a sophistication with that being older and something that's enjoyable to watch. Hey, I love seeing Trusova do all those quads. It's really fun to watch that. But I also enjoy watching Mariah Bell do the in between component stuff
Yeah.
as well as she does too.
So actually, the Team USA ladies did amazing.
You know what? Alyssa Liu, I was really so proud of her. I mean, the thing that I skate with her a lot, and she after her growth spurt, she grew through 3 inches in 1.5 years or
I know,
something.
that's crazy. Poor
Usually
girl.
nobody even makes it back from that,
Yeah.
right? And she went out, and even though it was an under rotated triple axel, I didn't care because it looked pretty clean. And she stood up in Olympic competition. And I just knew months before that she was on a harness and she was like struggling with getting it around. And I was like, God bless you, girl, going out there smiling the whole way. I'm having a great time. Here I am going into my triple axel and I hit it. I mean, she is like the bright light of the event for me because she
Yeah.
was just happy to be there. And you know
Yes.
what? She's proven that you can make it through a growth spurt and improve.
Yeah, actually, I thought that Mariah was going to place higher, but then Alisa was fighting with everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And
It's
I thought that
surprising.
I think Mariah would have been higher if she hit the triple triple in the short, which
Yeah.
was so close, by the way. It was just the triple flip was so good. It was almost too good. The triple flip was almost too good,
Mm,
like too big or something. She was really close to having, I think, a really fantastic Olympics. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think it really I think that her wind was out of her sails after she ended up, I think she was in 13th after the short program or something. So
Yeah.
I think it's tough when you're under 10th place to like get the feeling back,
Okay. Yeah, I get it. But I think it was a great choice to go back to the Hallelujah program for this season. Ah, I just love that program. It makes me cry every time.
Yeah, and there is something about like, they've been talking about age limits and I'm all for it. Setting the age limit higher for, seniors. The only problem is that you have to really we see that they still don't really give component scores what they should be. It's not really equal to the jumping. And so they really have to figure that out if they're going to raise the age limit. But that's what I miss about like seeing the sophistication of a performance of
Yeah.
older women
Mm,
and older men. Jason Brown doesn't come around all the time. I mean, it's a handful of times. Patrick Chan, Jason Brown. It's like Stefan Lambiel. It's like very very few and far between. And
yeah.
usually people are better component skaters as they get older.
Yeah.
And so we have to
Totally.
figure that out.
I agree totally. And now, with the World Championships, without Russia, what are your predictions for the ladies? I mean, the men is not going to change, but for the ladies, it's going to change a lot.
Obviously the Japanese are going to dominate. We might sneak in there with someone. Our women
I
might
would
sneak in
love
there.
that. I
I
was
would
thinking
too.
Japan, maybe Korea with the Young Yu, and
Mhm.
some Team USA. I don't know who because they are all amazing.
Is also the Georgian skater she was really good. She
The
was in
Belgian, Luna
Oh,
Hendrick.
yeah, I
Oh,
love her.
she's good.
Was she in 7th after the short program? I think that was her.
I believe so. Yeah, the blonde girl.
Yeah,
Actually,
love
in
her.
some Grand Prix competitions, she has beat some of the Russian ladies. Not in the free skate, but in the short program.
Yeah, she was definitely I think it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to see what happens. I mean, we'll still have great representation on
Yeah,
the world level because honestly, those girls the Japanese girls really brought their A game, you
they're
know.
so good. Yeah.
I'd love to see Wakaba, you know.
Yeah, because her jumps are so big.
And her
So clean.
components were really underscored. I know we're talking about components a lot, but they were really underscored, I thought. She's really good.
Yeah, I love her free skate, the black
Yeah.
king. I love
Yeah.
it. It's going to be interesting. So
I know.
maybe we
I
will
do
be
think
talking.
our girls can sneak in there. I think
Yeah,
our women can sneak in there
I
there,
think so too. I mean, they have the motivation from Olympics. They have the fire right now, so they can fight now. And of course, knowing that there is not going to be Russian ladies, that's like uh, something that gets you more, like on fire, because you have
Yeah.
the chance to get in there.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to fight, like really, really fight. It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, of course.
So then my question is like, what happens like with the number of skaters that Russia's able to send the next year? Because everything's based on the world championships, right? So
I don't know.
that'll be interesting to see how they figure that out,
The
right?
ISU haven't said anything yet, so
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how many skaters are able to send, you know.
yeah.
Hey, our pairs, the American pairs might sneak in there too, by the way.
Oh,
Just
I
want to,
love them both. I
yeah.
mean,
I
Alexa,
mean, our ice dancers are great too, but
yeah, but Madison and Zachary are going to compete. Do you know?
I haven't heard any news about who's going to go to Worlds or who is not going to Worlds,
Because I
but
think they
I
were
hope they do.
retired, but I don't know if after Worlds. Uh,
Huh.
I don't know, but we will see because both pair teams are amazing, and
Yeah.
dance teams. I mean, like everyone, Madison and Evan, and Madison and Zachary. Oh, they're so good. I was cheering for them. It's so sad that Chuck and Bates didn't get to the podium. They were so.
Yeah, they had a really good, I mean, their skate in the team competition was really good. I mean, I think that was a real highlight for me of seeing both of our dance teams defeat the world champion Russians
Mhm.
in the team event, in both disciplines, rhythm dance and free dance. I thought it was really a great moment for our American teams.
Yeah, I
And the
think
dance competitions are good. It was a good competition.
it was tough. I mean, and
Yeah.
I think that if Madison and Evan didn't make the mistake in the rhythm dance, they could have been in the podium. They were so good. It's so sad.
Yeah, she's lucky that she saved that edge. Did you see a slow motion of that edge? Oh my god,
Yes,
it could have been
I
disastrous.
know.
She
Like
was saved that, man.
I know. Oh, it was so sad. It was devastating. And well, Alexa and Brandon and Ashley and Tim, I really hope to see them higher because they're so good also. They are so
Yeah,
different.
they are so different, which is really nice, right? They just have like they bring so much to the table.
Hmm.
And the thing that I loved about Ashley, she even though it was a rough skate for her, she just kept going at it, man. She was like a true Olympian. She just was like pushing away, just committed, giving everything 100%. It kind of gave me chills to watch her go at it like that.
She's a warrior in every
Yeah,
level.
truly.
I love her.
Yeah.
I mean, and they are so tall, and it must be very difficult to do pairs, like with that height. But
Yeah.
they are so good. I mean, I don't know. I just love their performances.
I do
They're
too.
strong.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. We will be talking about the worlds and chat about what happened. I mean, I love it. Thank you so much for this interview. This has been so much fun. People in the
Really,
chat like asking so many questions and saying hi, and they love your performances. And what else? Oh, someone is saying very interesting how his coach saw an opportunity instead of a disadvantage. Yeah, like I love that. And what else? Oh, everybody's talking about the Battle of the Bryans, of course. That it was amazing. Like everybody's saying hi. So happy to have you here and everything. So thank you so much, Brian. This has been so much fun, and thank you
really
for the
fun for
interview.
me too. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, and hopefully we will do this again sometime.
Yeah, after Worlds, we can like talk about Worlds, what happens. That'll be
Yeah,
exciting.
I would love that.
Okay,
Thank you
sounds
so
good.
much, and have a great day. And thank you everybody for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.